What's up, everybody? It's Meaghan. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about astrology. So I had gotten a few comments, messages, and I had even asked you guys a few weeks ago on Instagram if you guys would like to see more tarot or astrology videos, and a lot more of you guys said you want to see astrology videos. So in this video particularly, I figured why not start off with some basic astrology knowledge and talk about your sun, your moon, and your rising sign. So I figured what better place to start, right? Before I even start in getting into the bulk of the video, I just want to say a little disclaimer that I am not a professional astrologer. I am self-taught in everything that I know, but I'm not just some naive person here on YouTube that's going to be like, well, I'm going to teach people astrology even though I know nothing about it. I have actually done extensive research on astrology. I have so many books. I've read so many online things. I follow a lot of astrologers that are professional astrologers on Twitter, on Instagram, and I've spent a very long time looking up things, asking a lot of questions, talking to astrologers, and finding out a lot of information, and that's how I know my information. So before anyone comes for me and says, well, girl, you don't know what you're talking about, you just like astrology because it's trendy, that's not the truth. I actually have a genuine interest in it, and I put a lot of time into learning it and teaching myself, and I would love to one day hope to be a professional astrologer because I think it's super cool to know all this stuff, and it's awesome to me. It's fascinating. But I wanted to get that stuff out of the way. So yeah, now we can actually start talking about real astrology things. So your sun sign is essentially your sign that whenever somebody talks to you and says, oh, what sign are you? And you answer with Aries, Taurus, whatever it is, that is your sun sign. So sun sign had gotten really popular from basically that's the easiest sign in your chart to know. So back in the day when people couldn't afford professional astrologers to figure out their chart for you because the internet was not a thing, you actually had to pay somebody who was a professional astrologer to look at your chart. The sun sign would be the only thing that people would know without that. So luckily in today's world, we're lucky enough to be able to have access to the internet, which can look up anyone's birth chart at any time and make it a lot easier to know the rest of your chart. So the other signs had gotten a little bit pushed off to the side, and everybody focused on their sun sign because it's the easiest to figure out because it's a certain day to a certain day every single year, and it stays consistent. That's why the sun signs are essentially the most popular, but I would not say your sun sign is the most important. I think that's something that people have a lot of difficulty understanding is sometimes, like, let's say, for example, somebody's a Gemini and they're like, well, I really don't have any qualities of a Gemini. I'm not two-faced. I'm not this and I'm not that. People don't understand that you're a lot more than just your sun sign or that your sun sign isn't the most important thing in your chart, in my opinion. And I've talked to a lot of other professional astrologers out there, and they all agree on the same thing, that your sun sign is kind of overhyped, essentially. Yes, it is a part of your personality. I would say that your sun, your moon, and your rising sign combined make your personality, essentially. Obviously, your Mercury, Venus, Mars, all the rest have a lot to do with your personality and how you work through things. But I would say that your sun, your moon, your rising, they call that your big three for a reason because that's kind of your personality. That's your person. I would say your sun sign's a little overhyped, but I would say it is definitely a big portion of your personality. For example, I'm born June 23rd. I am in Cancer, so whatever sign that you are, it's very easy to figure that out. Also, I feel like I should have mentioned this, but I also use astro.com to look at my birth chart. I really don't trust a lot of other websites, Cafe Astrology. I don't really trust a lot of the CoStar apps, the pattern apps. I'm not really a fan of astrology apps. I do think they're super fun. I do look at them occasionally, but for the most part, if you really want to find out a lot about astrology, I definitely would try to learn it yourself. Those apps are not going to tell you what an astrologer, or if you were to learn astrology, what they know. They're just going to give you like someone in an office typed out description of something and send it to your phone. So if you go to astro.com, you go to horoscopes, extended chart selection, fill it out. Also, I'm just going to say this, it's extremely important to know your birth time. If you don't know your birth time, you're not going to get as an accurate birth chart as you normally would. So if you can, ask maybe your parents, your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, your brothers, your sisters, whoever may know what time you're born, or if you can get a hold of your birth certificate, anything that might have your birth time on it, I would look it up because you're going to need your birth time. So your sun sign, yes, is extremely important. It's a part of your personality, but I would say it's not the whole truth. In my perspective, I would say that your ascending is the most important. A lot of people have this misconception that if you are not like your sun sign, astrology is BS just because of that reason. I'm like, okay, no. If you don't relate to your sun sign, there's probably a reason why. For example, me and one of my really good friends that I've actually known for a very long time, we have almost identical birth charts. And I was like, but we're so different. Like, there's only 2 signs that are different, and it's our Venus and our Mars, which, yes, are big signs, but considering we have the same big 3 placements, I was like, we're not even alike personality-wise. But when I looked into our charts, the house system was completely different. So I was like, there it is. And it made a lot more sense to me. So I'm going to say that no, there's not only just 12 signs out there and everybody is designated to one of those 12 signs. A lot of people have that misconception where it's like, oh, astrology is not real because you can only be 12 types of people in the world. You're absolutely right. There isn't just 12 types of people in the world. But when you look into someone's birth chart, there's so many other things in their sun sign. So with that being said, I'll move into the ascendant. So I keep mentioning it. Your ascendant essentially rules your first house. So the first house is who you are. It is what you represent. It's how your personality is. It's how you come across to people. It is how you are in social situations. It's how your personality is. So the ascendant rules that first house. So whatever that ascendant is, that's your personality. So obviously your sun sign is going to have bits and pieces of your personality, but your ascendant, to me, in my opinion, is going to have most of the power there. And for example, my ascendant is a Sagittarius, so my chart ruler, which is the planet that rules that ascendant, is going to be Jupiter. So Jupiter is my chart ruler because Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is my ascendant. So I hope that made sense. There's so much to it. If you have questions, just let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to explain things. So think of it this way, that your ascendant basically has a little sprinkle in every little aspect of your entire chart because it is your chart ruler. So the planet of Jupiter is expansive. I can overindulge in things. So for me, that's a common theme in anything I do. Is I do everything to like the 100th degree of things. Look at your chart, see what your chart ruler is, and then if you want to look up more things about yourself, you can always Google, be like, oh, if I have a Capricorn ascending, look up Saturn chart ruler and see what comes up. Your ascendant is essentially what was on the rising, because they also call it your rising sign, what was on the horizon when you were born. So again, this is why this is so important to have your birth time, because it actually goes through all 12 signs throughout the 24-hour period. So if you don't have your exact birth time, you could actually not get the right ascendant because it changes every 2 hours or around every 2 hours. I feel like Sagittarius, me, is very much what people see, especially here on the internet. And then when you get to know me on a deeper level, you see Cancer me. So I feel like there's like the different layers. So, and the last layer is your moon sign. So the moon sign, I personally believe that you see the most. I feel like that's something that you guys more so know about yourself. So your moon is essentially how you handle your emotions. It's your emotional side. The moon rules Cancer, which is a very emotional sign. It's how you emotionally deal with things. It's how you emotionally need things. It's how you emotionally handle life. And it's how you feel internally. So again, I would say it's more so what you feel inside, not necessarily outside, whereas the sun and the ascendant tends to show more on the outside. I would say though, your sun sign is like somewhere in the middle. Like there's parts of me that can be very Cancer on the outside, but there's also parts of me that can be very Cancer on the inside as well. Also, again, I just want to say, if your moon maybe you don't relate to as much, or your ascending you don't really relate as much, there are so many different things in a birth chart. I can't stress this enough because so many people, I'll read them a general description of a Virgo moon and they're like, that's not me. That's not what I do. And I want to be like, there's so many other things going on in your chart than just what that sign is. The sign is such a small piece of your birth chart. I'm going on like a rant for a second, but a lot of people tend to say like astrology's BS, you can't predict the future with astrology, you can't do this, you can't do that. Listen, astrology is a tool to use because it can teach you about current themes in your life. It can teach you about yourself. It can teach you about your family. It can teach you a lot about yourself. That's essentially what astrology is. It teaches you about yourself, your life path, things like that. But at the end of the day, people tend to forget that we all have free will. And if there's something about your chart or something about your sign or something about your moon sign, your certain aspects, if you have like a bad aspect in your chart, whatever it is, we have free will and you can change anything. You are not your birth chart. Your birth chart is a reflection of you, essentially, but you have the ultimate power in choosing what path that you want in life. But also, I'm going to say this one last thing before I go, but it's very important to be careful who you share your chart with. That is probably one of the first things that I found out about astrology when I was reading about astrology, and a lot of astrologers say the same thing. It's very important to be careful who you share your birth chart with because I don't trust anybody. You don't know what people's intentions are, and people can do really bad things, and it's just not good. Yeah, that's your sun, your moon, and your rising sign. I hope this video helps you guys out. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me, tweet me, write in the comments. I'll be happy to go into further explanation for you, to explain more things. I would love to do more videos like this, so maybe my next one will be about your Mercury, your Venus, and your Mars sign, because those are really important too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more videos like this, or you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below what kind of videos you want me to talk about next, or what kind of videos you want to see from me in the future. And make sure you subscribe so that way you guys get notified whenever I post a video. Hit that notification button so we can hang out all the time. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!